يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون صدق الله العظيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اجعلنا دائما معهم واجعل منهم. I will just start by reading the translation of the ayats that Sidi Ilyas recited just now. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, O you who have iman, O you who believe, seek help in steadfastness and salat. Allah is with the steadfast, with the sabirun. Do not say that those who are killed in the way of Allah are dead. On the contrary, they are alive, but you are not aware of it. We will test you with a certain amount of fear and hunger and loss of wealth and life and fruits. But give good news to the steadfast, to the sabirin. Those who, when disaster strikes them, say, we belong to Allah and we will return to Him. Those are the people who will have blessings and mercy from their Lord. They are the ones who are guided. There is no easy way to say this. We were expecting someone to be sitting here with us this evening, and they are not here. May Allah cover Abdalhaqq, Emir Abdalhaqq, with mercy and forgiveness and every delight he has in store for those he loves. Allah, the people say in this thing, we belong to Allah and we return to Him. This is the straight truth. We belong to Allah and we will return to Him. We belong to Allah, He will do with us what He wills. And we will return to Him when He wills and where He wills. This event that has happened came out of the blue. It was totally unexpected by all of us. Who would have thought, when speaking with Abdalhaqq yesterday morning, that in the evening he would not be no longer with us. It was a totally unexpected event. A more unlikely thing cannot have happened. And reflecting on that, two things occurred to me. One, is that it is an absolute, clear sign and clear proof of the ineluctable nature of the decree of Allah. Completely out of nowhere, He took Abdalhaqq back to Himself. The decree of Allah is absolutely ineluctable. There can be no changing of it. And there is no point in looking at the means by which something happens. It is the fact of its happening that is important. Allah chose that to happen in the way that He chose, but the fact is that he wanted to take Abdalhaqq back to Himself at that moment in time, which He did, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other thing that occurred to me was that because of the unexpectedness of it, of the unlikely nature of it, happening to someone so vibrant in life and so strong and so confident in the future as Abdalhaqq, it means that they could have been any one of us. It means that Allah chose Abdalhaqq, but it could have been any one of us. You, sitting here, you might have been the one who wasn't here tonight. We have to see that this life is fragile. And we've been shown directly that Allah can take our lives when He wills, without any notice. We must be all prepared for that. But we must also know that what Allah does is always for the best, even though it's difficult to see that sometimes. What Allah does is always for the best. And when it's someone like Sidi Abdalhaqq, who devoted his life to serving his Shaykh and serving his Lord and serving his community. There can be nothing in it but good for him and for those he leaves behind. May Allah Ta'ala give them patience and give them the ability to, and give all of us the ability to understand and to accept the decree of Allah and to benefit from it. I knew Abdalhaqq well for more than 12 years. And in all that time, I never experienced from him anything but the most excellent courtesy in every time I met him. Exquisite courtesy, exquisite good adab. On every occasion I met him over 12 years, I don't know how many, hundreds of times. Shaykh Abdalhaqq, you always used to remind us, and it's a great saying of the path, "At-tasawwuf kulluhu adab." And I can only know from the adab, the wonderful adab that I experienced from Abdalhaqq, that he was truly a Sufi. And all of us know the selfless way in which he served the community when he did not like being in the position that he was in, and yet he gave himself to it and served selflessly, served the community for all that time that he was there. And all of those who have known him know that to be the case. And Shaykh Habib reminded me today that he used to do things and no one else knew about them. If something needed to be done, he would do it and he wouldn't say anything about it. He would just get on with it and do it when it was needed. And Shaykh Habib reminded me of another quality he had, which is a great quality, one of the qualities of Allah that he commends in his book. He brought people together and he resolved people's difficulties and conflicts. He brought people together. This is a wonderful attribute, a wonderful quality to have. And so Allah Ta'ala chose him and has taken him back to him, and may Allah Ta'ala benefit from all these qualities which he expressed, which he had during his life, and reward him for them and benefit him by them and give him the company he would love through them. Ya Allah, accept him be delighted with him. Ya Allah, be delighted with him. Ya Allah. Allah, take him with the Nabiyyin and the Siddiqeen and the Shuhada and the Salihin. And they are the best company. May he be in the best company. Ya Allah. I had prepared to talk tonight about something that I once heard Shaykh Muhammad ibn al-Habib rahimahullah ta'ala talk about, something that he would talk about often actually, which is Surat al-Asr. Let's recite it together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal Asr. Innal insana lafi khusrin. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله العظيم. I once heard Shaykh Muhammad, we were traveling in Cape Town. Can you hear, by the way? Is this thing working? Yes. we were traveling in Casablanca. We were traveling in Casablanca, and we visited someone in the middle of the morning, someone at lunchtime, someone in the middle of the afternoon, and someone in the evening. And on each occasion, he gave a tafsir of Surat al-Asr. And each time it was fresh, and each time the words were almost exactly the same. And yet it was alive every time. And one Asri, the Asr is of course the time of Asr, the time of the afternoon prayer, and it's also the time means age. It's a time. It's an age, and the Prophet ﷺ was once sitting in a garden with a group of companions, and there was a wall behind in front of him, and the sun was just going down behind the wall. And he said to them, there is as much time between me and the end of time as it will take for the sun to go behind the wall, as it was sinking behind the wall. And the Asr also means, is also a word used for time itself. And the Prophet ﷺ said, لا تسبوا دهر لا تسبوا دهر إنه what is the, how do you know that? لا تسبوا الدهر فإنه الله فإن الله هو الدهر. Do not curse time, space, because certainly Allah is time, space. And it's something, time is something we take for granted. We're all the time in it, and yet it's something we don't really reflect. We don't really we just take it for granted. For instance, what happened to the beginning of this evening? Where is it? Once it was a group of companions at the time of in the great days of Baghdad, a group of Sufis, and they were together. And there was a candle in the room. They were discussing things, and then a draft came, and the candle blew out. And a young boy said, "Where did that light go?" And one of the people cried out, "Allah," and passed out. On understanding this, the nature of time. There are two basic understandings of time now. One is that time in the past is confined to one's memory, and in the future it's entirely indefinite. You do not know what is going to happen in the future. So the past is contained only in memory, and the future is not known at all. And there is another theory of time, which is equally current, which is that all time is there all the time. So that the past and the future are all times. A mithal can be made of an old-fashioned screen projector with the reel on the top going through the light and the reel on the bottom collecting what has happened. But past time is all in the reel that is future time is all that is in the reel on top, and then it's collected by the past. So future time and past time are all there all the time. In fact, both of these understandings are with us as Muslims, because we know that Allah Ta'ala knows everything that has been, that will be, and that is. So the second understanding, that time is all there all the time, is understood. But our experience of time is not like that. Our experience of time is we forget things that came in the past, and yet and we're not certain of what is going to happen in the future. And yet we know by Allah that everything that happens is decreed and will happen as Allah wills, as Allah has decreed from before time. I often say that we know that everything is absolutely preordained, but not until after it's happened. So our relationship with time is a very subjective one. We say, I've got all the time in the world, for instance, or I haven't got the time for it. But in reality, time is all we have. We don't have anything but time. And it's the most precious commodity of all. Sayyidina Ali Karamallahu Wajhu said, time is the two-edged sword. If you do not cut with it, it will cut you. If you do not make use of the time that you have, there is a hadith which says in the next world, all the hours of your life will be like boxes, and those hours in which you remembered Allah will be full of light, and those in which you didn't will be dark. And so the time we have is precious, and we do not know when it will end. If yesterday's event showed us everything, showed us anything, we do not know when the time we have is going to come to an end. Therefore, it's up to us to make absolute best use of the time we have until we have no more time. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ. Al-insan, the human being, has two roots in Arabic. Al-insan can be from nasi, which means to forgetfulness. Or it can be al-insan meaning the pupil of the eye, a lens. So we are lenses between space-time and timelessness. And either we get lost in space-time and forget the timeless element of which also we have access to. May Allah Ta'ala make us people who face Him and face away from the world, who remember Him and forget the world. So we are this interspace between time and timelessness, and this connects us with the next thing. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. The mankind is in loss, and khusr is what will take us away from Allah. Loss. And the Quran, the stories of the Quran are full of telling us what khusr is. The peoples of the past who got lost in khusr, and the khusr takes the form in some communities of financial misdealing, of cheating, of injustice, and in other communities, community of Lot, for instance, it took the form of sexual deviance and social excess. And may Allah Ta'ala reward Shaykh Abdalhaqq for giving us access to knowledge of the khusr of the time in which we live. He made he made it clear. He made it absolutely clear to us. In one way, khusr is time wasted, and time spent wrongly, and he in his books of history, he in his books in the book of Tawheed and the book of Amal and the book of Hub and the book of Safar, he talks about the nature of time, and in the book of Safar he actually speaks very directly about what time is, and in the other books he talks in his books of history in the time of the Bedouin and the Interim is Mine and the Hinges the Broken World and the entire city. He tells us what happens with the result of wasted time. And he talks about particularly how in this time the khusr takes two forms. It takes the form of financial and injustice as usury has become rampant. This is the khusr which is destroying the people of this time. And he talks about, particularly in the time of the Bedouin, about how the human being has become destroyed through and he talks about how in the French Revolution the men and women were destroyed and became citizens and became ciphers, simply ciphers, and lost, and masculinity was destroyed and femininity was destroyed. And this is the nature of the khusr of this time in which we live. And may Allah Ta'ala give us success in taking on what He brought to us, so that we may restore the deen in the time which is financial probity and correct transaction, and the correct relationship between men and women. إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا صالحات. So the remedy, the remedy for what will take you away from the khusr is to believe in Allah and act rightly, and the mithal of it was made of that of the people who take on the belief in Allah and right action. And of course the belief in Allah is based on the six things. Belief is based on the six pillars of Iman, which are belief in Allah and His angels and His books and His messengers, and in the last day, and in the decree, and in the decree. If this is your inner landscape, then you are escaping from kufr, and the actions are to pronounce the shahada, to perform the salat, to worship Allah, to pay zakat, to fast Ramadan, and to go on Hajj. And the brilliant insight of Shaykh Abdalhaqq was to see that the ibadah, that the prayer and zakat had become separated, and he spent his life calling for them to be brought together again. People have misunderstood the Shaykh Abdalhaqq's insistence on zakat. It's not about the details of zakat. People say, oh well, we pay zakat, we give 2.5%. That isn't what he was saying. He was saying the deen has become split. The muamalat have become separated from the ibadat. They must be brought together again. They must be brought together again. And this is the task that He's laid on us, to bring together the ibadat and the muamalat. So worship of Allah is connected with social and economic and political justice. And we must call for that and do everything we can to follow his teaching in re-establishing it. And then may Allah Ta'ala give us success. May Allah Ta'ala give us desire for it. May Allah Ta'ala give us understanding of it. May Allah Ta'ala make us people of it. Ya Allah. And may the surah ends وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And call each other to the truth, and call each other to sabr, to steadfastness, to seeing it through. In the Fatiha we do not say ihdini sirat al-mustaqim. We don't say lead me on the straight path. We say ihdina al-sirat, lead us on the straight path. Islam is a group activity. It's a community. It's a communal. It requires people working together. Tawasaw bil haqq. Call one another. Call one another to truth. Call one another. Be together in establishing this thing. Do not. This society we live in is all about separating. It's making everybody individually dependent on the state. What the Shaykh has called it for is to connect together. That's another of the benefits of zakat. Zakat connects people together, connects the community together. It makes us into a jama'ah, like the jama'ah here tonight. Allah reward you all for coming. May Allah Ta'ala connect our hearts together by it and make us a force in the way of Allah through it, through this connection which He has. And may we be people who call one another to the truth and who encourage one another to see the thing through. That is what sabr is, to see it through to the end, to reach the end with it. I've just finished with, there was an example that was made of the birds, that migrate. And they fly these huge distances through the air, thousands of miles, without ever coming to land. And someone asked, well, how can they possibly do that? How can they all stay awake and long enough and have enough strength to do it? And what was discovered was that they don't. When they fly in these huge flocks, when they fly in these flocks together, when some get tired, the others support them. And then when they've rested, they support the other ones. So that they all get to their goal together. They all reach the same place where they came with the year before, together, by this means of supporting one another in this flight in the way of Allah. May Allah Ta'ala give us success in implementing, in understanding and implementing the deen that we've got from our Shaykh, the knowledge that He's given us, and in making it real, and in awakening our hearts to it. May Allah Ta'ala awaken our hearts to the truth and to what will bring His deen to life in ourselves and around us. Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Let's finish with the surah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. صدق الله العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. سبحان اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. And may Allah Ta'ala cover our beloved brother Abdalhaqq with his mercy. Ya Allah, may you receive him back to yourself with kindness and in such a way that he will be delighted with what he finds. And Ya Allah, may we be among those who find ourselves with him and those with those that Allah loves. Ya Allah. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. استغفر الله الحمد لله.